Hey strong girls, it's Coach O and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about pull-ups. I've put together a pull-up program which is your ultimate guide to being able to achieve your first pull-up or linking 10 pull-ups in a row. This program is a complete 4-week program with sets and reps and all the drills you're going to need. I've linked this program down below. It's a completely free resource, so if you want to go ahead and pause this video, go ahead and download it, and then I'm going to be going through that entire program through this video for you to follow along. We're first going to go over our pull-up standard. In my eyes, a great goal for any strong girl is to be able to achieve 3 to 5 quality pull-ups, and we're going to go over what that quality means right here. Okay, so let's go over what this pull-up standard looks like. So up here for your pull-up, in our starting position, hanging down here, you always want to make sure that we're in this hollow position. So our core is tucked, our pelvis is tucked under, our feet are flexed, our feet are pinned next to each other, and my arms are completely straight. So this is your starting dead hang position. From here, I'm pulling my elbows down and tight to my body, and your locked out position has your chest and your shoulders all the way to that bar. My chin is all the way up over that bar. Coming back down, I get back to that completely straight position at the bottom. So notice as I did my pull-up, I used absolutely no momentum with my body. So what I mean by that is that my body is completely straight and stripped, and it's just my arms pulling me up and over that bar. I'm not swinging or kicking or letting my legs go at all there. And I'm going to do one more rep here for you to see that I do want completely straight arms at the bottom. So if I went to go for another pull-up, I'm not stopping halfway and going into the next rep. All right, so let's completely break down this pull-up and start at the very beginning, which is our hand positioning. So there are 3 different kinds of hand positioning, and this actually changes the terminology that we use. So there's pull-ups, chin-ups, and neutral grip pull-ups. So with pull-ups, that's the most traditional hand positioning that we think of when we're doing pull-ups, and that's just 2 hands facing forwards. This is the pronated grip, so you want to think that your palms face away from you. And when you're doing a pull-up, your hands are going to be just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. So hands face forward, and then this would be your starting position. Notice my arms are not directly in line with my shoulders, but they're just slightly wider in your pull-up position. Okay. Now for your chin-ups, you're simply just going to turn your palms and face them towards you. So right, pull-ups are here, chin-ups, palms are going to face towards you. This is in the supinated grip. And for this one, your arms are going to be straight down from your shoulders. That was pull-ups and chin-ups, and our last variation here is neutral grip pull-ups. Not all gyms are going to have the handle positionings for neutral grip pull-ups, but all neutral grip is on these parallel bars you can see here. They go forward, and your hands are going to go on those parallel bars. And again, in this position, your arms will be straight down from your shoulders. So when you're approaching your pull-ups, it's truly up to you whether you want to do pull-ups, chin-ups, or neutral grip pull-ups. The only difference that comes with these hand positionings is just the angle that your forearms, biceps, shoulders, and lats are in. So certain muscles are going to be biased over others in your movement. So pull-ups are going to be traditionally the hardest variation. Chin-ups are going to be in the middle, and a neutral grip pull-up is going to be a little bit easier when it comes to what muscles are being biased in those positionings. The one note that I will mention is that if you are a youth athlete between the ages of 10 to 18 and you are playing a sport that involves a lot of upper body throwing and arms, I typically stay only with the neutral grip pull-up for those younger athletes. And I'm going to add a little note here. So if you are living somewhere that it's very hot, like I am in Alabama, it's super humid today, or if you are just someone who generally sweats a little bit more, you don't want your sweat and your grip to be a limiting factor in achieving your pull-ups or doing your pull-up training. So I really recommend using some form of chalk. I prefer liquid chalk. It's a lot less messy than a powder chalk. If you are in a home gym, it's up to you how you want to use this. I will say if you are in a public gym, then definitely check with your gym rules. Some gyms don't allow you to use chalk, but I'm going to put my chalk on for the rest of the video because I'm starting to slip off this bar. And this liquid chalk is kind of like magic. You put it on, make sure to only put it on the palms of your hands, and over time it will dry and turn your hands white. And the liquid chalk does last a lot longer than your powder chalk will. There are a few pieces of equipment that I'm going to recommend throughout the video, and if you're interested in any of them, I'm going to go ahead and link them down below in the description. Okay, so step one with our pull-ups is super simple. It's just how to get up to the bar. I always recommend having a box or a bench to get up there. It's just a lot easier, and especially if you're on the shorter side like me, it's going to make your life a lot easier when doing your pull-up drills. I also recommend using a box. They're typically higher than benches, so you want something that gets you as high up to the bar as you can to start off with. When you're setting up your box to your bar, you want to make sure that it's close enough so that, let's say if I was hanging on up here, when I'm at the bottom, my legs are pretty close to that box, right? I don't have to reach or step too far out. What happens if this box, let's say, is way too far out, then I have to reach forward for the bar here, and then it leaves a lot of room for error to step off and swing. And let's say if the box was too close and it was underneath, then there's not going to be a possibility for you to hang because the box is in the way. So I'm going to set my box in its proper distance away from that bar, and then let's talk about how we get up to that bar. So the main thing when you're getting up to your bar is you want to limit how much your body is swinging. So it's a very easy mistake that I see is people come here and they step off the bar and then they're swinging a lot. So to limit that, what you're going to do is you're going to grab onto your bar first. You're going to step slowly down off the box, and notice I'm keeping this foot here to help lower myself, and I still have pressure on this foot back here on this box. So that brings this front leg out nice and still, and all I do is bring this back leg off the box, and then I'm nice and tight here. From here, I get to tuck that core, tuck that pelvis under, keep those feet flexed, and legs out in front of me. So you can see there, absolutely no swinging. So when I get up to the bar, I'm going to grab onto the bar first. I'm going to slowly step off with one leg, doesn't matter which one. Slowly step off with one leg, and it's going to be locked out in front of me in this frozen position. Notice as I step down, I'm leaving one foot on the box, and I'm actually lowering myself, almost like a single leg squat there. So I have pressure on this foot. I find myself with straight arms here, and then at the very last minute, I'm taking off that back foot and meeting that other leg in the middle. So you see there, I'm hanging in this hollow hold position, absolutely no swinging. That's what I want to see as the starting position of your pull-ups. And now let's say you don't have a box or bench to get up to your bar. Totally fine, you're just going to use your power from your legs and jump up to the bar. Again, with jumping, there's going to be a little bit more room for error when it comes to swinging. So what I want you to do here is come straight down underneath the bar here. So when you jump up, all you do is jump straight up, and then keep your feet nice and tight, legs nice and tight to each other so that there's no swinging. Let's say if you do jump up and there is a little bit of swinging, all you have to do is kick something off to your side and then get your legs back down. Now that we've gone over your hand positioning and how to get up to the bar, let's go into our first pull-up drill, and this is a scap pull-up. Learning how to do a scap pull-up and learning how to activate your shoulders and your lats into the right position is going to be the first step into achieving a pull-up. So starting up here on the box, you're going to place your hands up on the bar, you're going to step down, get into your position here, and for your scap pull-up, you're going to be moving your scapula and contracting it and then relaxing it. So in this bottom position here, I want you to completely come in to a dead hang. So your shoulders are going to come all the way down by your ears. Then you're going to retract with your lats, pull your shoulders away from your ears, and pull those scaps and pinch your shoulder blades down together. Then you're going to relax again. So you're just hold that contraction for a good second, and then completely relax. As you're doing this, your chest will rise just a little bit, and then come back down into a dead hang position at the bottom. So now that you know how to do a scap pull-up, we're going to get into the prerequisite for doing this pull-up program. So in my eyes, you should be able to do a 20-second active hang hold. Remember the word active. Active hang hold for 20 seconds before you try and do any other pull-up drills. So your active hang hold is going to be up here on the bar. Grab onto the bar, step off, get into your starting position. What I want to see with active hang holds is that tight body position, right? So we're going to tuck our pelvis under, we're tucking our core, our feet are flexed, our legs are nice and straight, and notice with the active hang hold, I want you to do that scap pull-up so you're holding yourself high in this position here. So this is your active hang hold. This works all on your grip strength, And the reason why we're doing our active hang hold is so that you have the capability to hold your body weight up there in that pull-up. If you can't achieve 20 seconds to start off with, let's say you're only at 5, do a few rounds of 5 and do this every single day that you're in the gym. You will get up to 20 seconds before you even know it. And really quickly here, I'm gonna show you what a dead hang hold or an unactive hang hold looks like, and that's just simply what I call being lazy off the bar. So you're here, shoulders are relaxed, feet are hanging, core is not super tight. This is super fun if you're on the playground doing the monkey bars, but not when we're trying to do our pull-ups. Cool, good? Congrats, now you can do your 20-second active hang hold and you've passed the prerequisite into doing the pull-up program. So let's get right into what this program has laid in front of you. So on day 1 of your pull-up program, I want you to do a max test of your pull-ups. So if you can do a pull-up, I want you to see how many you can do. If you can't, I'm gonna have you do a 1 rep and a 3 rep test of a banded pull-up. I'm gonna be going over those banded pull-ups here in a little bit. So our first pull-up drill that we're gonna be going over is a TRX row or an inverted row. In this program, you can choose one or the other, and it's truly just up to what equipment that you have access to. So I'm first going to go ahead and demonstrate a TRX row. So for your TRX row, you're gonna need a TRX system of straps, or if you don't have a TRX system, you can use these gymnastics rings. They're gonna be the exact same. So back over here at our TRX system, I want you to grab a minimum 15-pound plate. 15 to 25 pounds is the best or most ideal here. And we're just placing that on the floor to make sure that our feet aren't slipping out from underneath us. So with our straps, I'm going to have you hold the TRX straps in the neutral position, regardless of whether you're doing pull-ups, chin-ups, or neutral grip pull-ups. I want you to do your TRX or ring rows in the neutral grip position. So right hands are going to be facing each other. To get into the starting position for your TRX row, I like to pull tight, and then you're going to place your heel on the floor, arch of your foot goes right on that plate. You're going to hold tight. This is your top position, and you're going to lower into your starting position here. So notice my body positioning, my hips are held high, so I want you to squeeze your glutes. And before you go, I want you to remember that scat pull-up. So you're going to pull your shoulders away from your ears, right? Kind of puff that chest out, and this is your starting position. From here, your elbows are going to stay tight to your body as you row. Hands come to the sides of your chest, and then straight back down. So for these TRX rows here, you're just going to rep out as many as you can. Big mistakes that I see is pulling up here, and then finishing the rep by crunching your chest up, right? So at that point, you're just using momentum from your chest, and you're not actually challenging your arms. Another big mistake I see is rowing up and on the way down going so fast that you lose tension in your hips, right? So I want you to keep nice and tight, row up, contract, squeeze, hold, control on the way down, and then hit your next reps there. Throughout the program, you'll see it laid out. I want you to achieve 10 reps at this distance, and then to make these TRX rows harder, all you're going to do is scooch that plate forward. And I would not scooch it forward that far to begin with. I would do it 1 inch at a time. So as the plate goes forward, you're going to be lower and lower to the ground, making this movement more horizontal and a little bit more challenging here. And so you're going to do this all the way until your feet are all the way underneath the base of the TRX strap system. Okay, that was tiring. So if you don't have a TRX or ring row system, then you can do that same drill and pretty much the same movement with a barbell, and these are called inverted rows. So you're going to go ahead and take your J-hooks at your rack, and I always recommend starting right about at your sports bra band height. So I'm going to place that right around here. And then you're going to go ahead and place your barbell into those hooks. So when you're doing your inverted rows, the biggest thing with safety is to make sure that you're on the inside of your rack, right? So I want to be pulling this bar into these posts. If I was on this side of the rack and I pull, that bar might roll out from the J-hooks and crush you in the face. So you always make sure that you're on the inside of the rack. If for some reason spatial wise you need to be turned around, put your J hooks on from the inside, okay? So now that I've set up my bar here, same thing, I'm gonna be taking that 15 or 25 pound plate and placing it on the floor. Unlike TRX rows, you need to find where that plate belongs, and what we need to make sure is that at the top of that, of the inverted row movement, that this bar is in line with our sports bra band. So, all I want you to do is be in this top position, and notice how that bar is right at my sternum or my sports bra band. If this plate was too far out, when I rode up, this is at my neck, right? And if this plate is too close, when I row up, this is at my belt button. So you need to find that perfect position so when you row up, bar is at your sports bra band. Okay. When you're approaching your inverted rows, there are two hand positionings that you can use. You can use your pull-up or pronated hand position, or if you're working towards chin-ups, you can do your supinated hand positioning. If you're working towards neutral grip pull-ups, I would recommend staying in that pronated position here. And you're gonna take your first or middle finger and put it right on that grip line. Same thing with our feet. Feet are on the floor, middle of our foot, or middle of our arch is on that plate. And then you're gonna hike up into your, kind of like a reverse plank position, right? So just like the TRX rows, my hips are up, my glutes are squeezed. And before I go, remember we're doing that scat pull-up, so we're pulling those shoulders away from our ears. And you can even see how that pulls my elbows and rotates my elbows down into a position so that when I row, those elbows are down at a 45-degree angle from my body. So a full inverted row rep means that your sports bra band is making contact and touching the top of that bar. I do not want to see half reps right here, okay? So we're coming all the way up and then all the way back down again with straight arms. We're not crunching in, and we're also not losing our hips at the bottom. Cool, so strict reps there for our inverted rows. Again, with our TRX rows, we're aiming for those 10 reps. Once you've hit 10 reps, to make this movement harder, you're gonna go ahead and lower your J hooks. And so I would recommend just lowering one notch at a time. I'm gonna show you what it looks like if I were to make this a lot harder. And when you do lower your bar, you're going to have to readjust where that plate for your foot goes. And you can see here, I'm a lot more horizontal to the floor. So this is your inverted row, and again, we want to get to a point where the bar is very low so that at the bottom you're horizontal to the floor. And again, to play around with what height you need here. If you need your starting height to be higher than that sports bra band, that's totally fine, and you will work your way down throughout the program and over the months. All right, so the rest of our pull-up drills that we're gonna be doing in this pull-up program are all up on the pull-up bar. So our first movement here, we're gonna be doing a pull-up negative, and if you were to just choose one drill out of all these pull-up movements, it's gonna be a pull-up negative. This is the biggest bang for your buck drill that you can do to achieve a pull-up. So you're going to take a box, and I always recommend trying to find the highest box that you can because you want to be almost above this bar. So I'm gonna demonstrate it like this. If you don't have a box that is this high, totally okay, and I'll show you an alternative when the box is lower. So let's say you have this box that's really high. What you're gonna do is you're gonna place your hands on your bar first. I'm going to get up really, really high on your tippy toes. Again, you want to be at the highest position that you can. You're going to pull yourself into the bar, right? So we're at that top position. Our chest is into the bar, our chin is over the bar, and you're pulling your elbows down and tight so you're in this locked out position. From here, you're going to slowly step your feet off of the box. I don't want you to think down from the box. I'm going to think off the box. So you just simply float off the box. So just like how you normally get onto the bar, one leg's gonna come forward. I still have pressure on this leg that's on the box. Bring your other leg, clip it together, and I'm in this hollow hold position. So at the top of your pull-up negative, I want you to hold for a second, hopefully 2 seconds, and then you're gonna lower yourself as slow as you can, like super, super slow. So you're gonna lock in here, legs off, hold 1, 2, and then lower as slow as you can, controlling this. If you get the little shakies, totally normal, but I want you to control all the way to the bottom. Even these last few inches here, super important until you're completely straight, and then you can drop down, climb back up onto your box, and repeat. We're not doing a lot of reps here, just 3 to 5 reps that we're doing. At the beginning, your reps are not gonna be that slow. Your reps may look like this, locked out, and then a quicker fall, and that's totally normal. Even towards the end of my sets and reps, let's say I'm on my 3rd set, my reps start to look like that. The goal with this pull-up program is that you can achieve, I believe it's 3 to 5 pull-up negatives, at least 10 seconds lowering. If you've achieved 10 seconds lowering, what I want you to do is add some weight. So some gyms will have those added weight belts that you can use. I personally do not have a weight belt, so all I do is I grab a band and then I grab a dumbbell, and you're going to loop the dumbbell inside of the band and then loop this around you and fish that dumbbell through the band. It's not the most comfortable thing, but we are working with what we can. And from here, the dumbbell just hangs down between your legs, and you're gonna load your pull-up negatives like this, making it harder. So the reason we do pull-up negatives is to work and build up strength in all of these little positions on the way down from our pull-ups. And if you've noticed, we're not actually pulling ourselves up, but when we do the opposite, do our pull-up positives, right? So pulling up, we're gonna be 10 times stronger. And there's a way to add weight to your pull-ups to your pull-up negatives if you don't have a band or a belt. It's a little bit more tricky, but it's possible. You're gonna take your dumbbell, place it upright on your box. You're going to grab onto the bar. See, there's some balance component to this. Some coordination here. Here, clip that dumbbell between your feet and go from here. Just be careful at the bottom. I want you to kick that dumbbell away from you so you don't land on it, right? Or if you do need to land, jump away from it, okay? So you're watching where that dumbbell is falling. But again, you're only adding a dumbbell or adding weight if you can achieve your 3 sets of 3 to 5 at 10 seconds. If you don't have a box that's this high to do your pull-up negatives, let's say you're working off of a bench or the highest box that you can find is only this high, I want you to bring that box to that proper alignment and distance from your bar. And notice if I'm on my tippy toes, there's no way I'm gonna be able to get up to that top of the box. So you're gonna have to jump, and I want you to be careful when you're jumping that you're not gonna swing a lot. If you need to, you can stabilize yourself with one leg against there, but I want you to try and jump straight up. You're gonna find your lockout position. Ready? So you're gonna jump, uphold, balance yourself to get into your position, and then lower from here in your pull-up negative. Not the most ideal, but still do this. Like, don't shy away from pull-up negatives just because you don't have a high enough box. Still totally able to do. You can even do this from the floor if you can give yourself that much of a boost. Our next movement here is very similar to the pull-up negative, and it's just a pull-up iso or isometric hold. So I'm moving my box back up to this high position because that's the most ideal position. And all you're doing with this movement is holding yourself at the top of your pull-up. So, hands here, fully locked in, right? So we're pulling our chest into the bar, elbows come down, legs out nice and tight, and you're just gonna hang out at the top of the bar. This one is very challenging. We're shooting for 10 to 20 seconds here, and then you'll start to lower from there. Ideally, I want you only holding at the top. Totally normal if you start to slip or lower just a little bit. So let's say I start here and I might come here. I just don't want you working on holding it here in that middle position because you're not at that top position. Same with our pull-up negatives. Once you've achieved your time there, go ahead and add weight through a belt or that dumbbell between your feet. Cool. Our last movement that we're gonna go over is the banded pull-up. So this is where you're actually moving through that pull-up range of motion. So you're going to need some bands, and again, I'm linking these below. I personally use the Rogue bands, but there are cheaper options that I've linked through Amazon. And I also put in there, make sure you're purchasing the correct bands. You don't want bands that are way too thick. You also don't want bands that are too thin. So if you're purchasing from Rogue, I would recommend a red, a blue, and a green band. And then the Amazon ones, I've reflected the same idea there. So different bands will support a different amount of weight. There are numbers attached to each of these bands, but it's not really tried and true. So I would start off with the thickest band you can. So for me, that's gonna be a green band. And I will make a note here. If you cannot achieve a pull-up with just the thickest band, you can easily double up on bands or triple up on bands. So if you needed to, you could work with all of these bands. But just for this first one, I'm going to just be doing the green band. I'm attaching all of mine to start off with, and I'm simply just throwing my bands off to the side so that they're not swinging in my face as I'm doing my pull-ups. Biggest thing with bands, there's a safety component here as to how to safely get into the band. So pay attention. What I want you to do is place your foot into the band first, and you're only ever gonna put one foot in the band. I never wanna see 2 feet in the band. So one foot goes inside of the band. You're gonna put the arch of your foot in that band. Keep your foot nice and flat the entire time. So pull that toe up, keep that foot flat. If you point your toe, that band's gonna come off of your heel and give you a wedgie. So it's happened to all of us. Just stay safe. So one foot goes inside that band. I want you to keep your knee up, and then while your leg is up here, I want you to grab onto the bar. From here, now that you're stable, you're gonna use this leg and punch this band down, and your foot is gonna come onto the box first. From here, you're going to step off of the box with your band leg. So you're stepping off with your band leg first, and just like how you always do, I'm supporting my step off with this leg that's still on the box. So I'm stepping down into that band. There's still pressure back here. At that last moment, I'm taking my free leg and I'm clipping it next to that band. From here, everything stays the same as that pull-up that we did in the pull-up standard in the beginning. So doing that little scat pull-up to start, elbows come down, full walk out to the top, all the way down with straight arms. All the way up and all the way down. And so with your banded pull-ups, you're going to be able to rep out reps here. So let's say if you can achieve 10 pull-ups with the thickest band. What I want you to do now is move down in band thickness. So the thinner the band, the less help it's gonna give you. The thicker the band, the more help it's gonna give you. So eventually we want to be working with thinner and thinner bands until we get to completely body weight, right? So now I'm gonna go into my blue band here, same setup, foot in, hands on, punch it down, step off with the band, clip with the loose foot, and then rep out my pull-ups from here, right? Once you move down in bands, totally normal if you aren't gonna be able to achieve those 10 reps. You might be down to 3 reps now, and you're gonna be working with that new band all the way back up through 10 reps, and then graduating down the bands there. There you have it. Those are all of the pull-up drills that you're gonna need to achieve your first pull-up, achieve repetitions of pull-ups, or even do pull-ups with weight one day. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I have that full pull-up program listed for free down below. It's a free download. It's a 4-week program, only 2 workouts per week. Each workout only takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so you can slap those on at the beginning or end of your already programmed workouts throughout the week, or you can just do it on an extra day that you have. Everything is listed out in that program. So your sets and reps, there's even a tracker where you get to document everything that you're doing throughout the weeks, so you can track your progress and really see your progress in there. Thanks for following along this pull-up video. I'm super excited to see your pull-up progress, so make sure if you do follow this program, be sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see where your pull-up journey starts and ends and continues to go. Be sure to go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my social media and join the Strong Girl community. We would love to have you. I will see you in our next video. Stay strong.